What's up, my dudes? It's the Vigorous Q&A. Welcome to the weekend. It's Saturday. Time to answer some questions. But first, a couple updates. Let's see. Peptide Bros episode 2 was recorded last Thursday, so it'll be up on the D₃-Testosterone's YouTube channel sometime next week. We did a tier list of nootropics, and then we realized, wait a minute, there's like a million nootropics. So the nootropic tier list will be a monthly occurrence and filled out with maybe 4, 5, 6 nootropics every single month as the podcast continues because, well, I didn't start recording yet. 1 second. Let me record this shit so I can make some shorts later. The nootropics tier list will just be filled. So we'll do like 1 hour of new and exciting stuff and then 1 hour of filling in the tier list and giving our feedback on the, where bromantane is classified and modafinil is classified, etc., etc., etc. So that will be on his YouTube channel. I linked it down below. D₃-Decoded's YouTube channel. Subscribe if you haven't already. On the previous podcast, Peptide Bros episode 1, we got about 4,500 views, which is atrocious. I'm sure you guys can do a lot better. Anabolic Roundtable episode 24, which is the 2-year anniversary of the Anabolic Roundtable. I mean, how many podcasts last that long? BioBros lasted, 13 episodes, and now we're at episode 24 of the Anabolic Roundtable. We'll discuss the bubble gut tier list. We'll record that next week, and then it should drop, let's say, the first week of August. That'll be a fat tier list as well. Disguised Alpha is having a 25% discount on GLP-1s and GLP-2s and GLP-3s. So that's liraglutide and semaglutide and tirzepatide and retatrutide and metatrutide, which is basically GLP-4, right? It's retatrutide plus pygelated MGF-1, pygelated mechano growth factor with a long half-life, so you can do 1 or 2 injections per week. So that's 12 milligrams, 10 milligrams retatrutide plus 2 milligrams PEG MGF. And you can get up to 50% discount. So you get 25% off GLP-1s with code Vigorous, and then 20% more if you buy in bulk, up to 20% more, and then another 7% if you pay with crypto, because the credit card payment processors, they want their cut, but if you pay with crypto, you just have to pay a network fee, so that's rewarded. 25% off GLP-1s with code Vigorous, 20% more if you buy in bulk, and another 7% if you pay with crypto. And then, but it's only for the GLP-1s and similar products, right? Omega Aminos is doing a 30% discount on everything. Free shipping and a mystery gift for every $200 that you spend. So if you spend $1,000, you get 5 mystery gifts. It's not cocaine, obviously. It's maybe like, I don't know, maybe some injectable carnitine or something, but or a GLP-1 of mystery, something like that. But you get a free gift for every $200 with code Vigorous. And the Omega Aminos Olympia booth is bought and paid for. So let me see if I can find that real quick and overlay that. Present, share screen, window, WhatsApp, share. All right. So yeah, you guys are able to see that. No, not yet. Here it is. Here's the Olympia booth or the Olympia stuff. Let's see. So that's right here. We are here, right in the bottom left. So the entrance is here in the upper left. So when you enter, you see the Legendary Foods and the Olympia X Gym Reapers booth. It's basically, official Olympia merchandise, and it's all right when you enter. And then you take a right to the 2 booths, which is the Omega Aminos booth. I'll be there. Chase will be there. Maybe Nick Walker will be there, but you'll probably qualify for the Olympia, so he'll be on stage and prepping. But Chris Massaro will be there, IFBB Pro, Chris Massaro, and everybody else that's part of the Omega Aminos booth. Right, they will all be here right when you enter, and then you don't need to go anywhere else. And save your money. And look at all these open spaces. As of now, 10 weeks out, all these purple spaces are open. So you only see us when you enter, and then these big booths that make a lot of noise. Yeah, so you don't need to go any further, man. Well, you might need to walk all the way to the end, to the stage, right? All right, here's the stage. if you want to watch, Bikini and Men's Physique and Men's Classic Prejudging, they'll all be here, I think. But all the action will take up right here at the entrance of the Mr. Olympia. All right, so that we can remove. Stop screen. All right, let's see. Are those all the updates? Yeah, those are all the updates, guys. So yeah, Peptide Bros is next week. Anabolic Roundtable in about 2 weeks. Boatload of discounts over at Disguised Alpha and Omega Aminos. And let's get the disclaimer out of the way, and then let's get started. I'm going to give myself a little bit more air conditioning because I'm already, and the Gorilla Mind Respawn is kicking in. 5,000 milligrams of L-tyrosine, bro. Time to get sweaty. All right, here we go. Luke, in a growth phase, any benefits is splitting up growth hormone instead of all pre-bed? I was thinking 2 to 4 use intramuscular pre-workout. Growth hormone should then peak right after training and provide high IGF-1, Humalog, pre, post. Yeah, you can do that, especially if you do Humalog pre and then growth hormone post. Then with your post-workout meal or intra-workout essential amino acids and carbohydrates, you might get an additional growth hormone response or an IGF-1 response. So as insulin is shuttling carbohydrates into the liver, assuming that serum estradiol is, sort of more towards the top or slightly over the reference range, then as the growth hormone peaks, you should get the highest IGF-1 response. And if that's not enough, you can take another injection of growth hormone 2 to 4 IUs before bed to get the additional IGF-1, but then you get a little bit of a negative feedback because your IGF-1 is already elevated and your liver kind of produces additional IGF-1 based on how much IGF-1 it can maximize over the day. So maybe you get the most IGF-1 of your pre-workout growth hormone administration and pre-workout and post-workout insulin with carbohydrates. Obviously you get a good high amount of IGF-1, and then you maybe get another 50 to 100 nanograms per milliliter of IGF-1 if you take a pre-bed shot. But I think if you do your full dose of growth hormone, so let's say your budget is 8 IUs growth hormone, you take 4 IUs pre-workout, 4 IUs pre-bed. If you take 8 IUs pre-workout, I think the net IGF-1 is still going to be the same, because 6 to 8 IUs is kind of where everybody peaks out or tops out at liver IGF-1 production. And it doesn't seem to matter if you split up the dose, because you already get, you get diminishing returns, right? You get a lot for the first 4 IUs, then a little bit less for the second 2 IUs, and then a little bit less for the third 2 IUs, the third dose. So if you take 4 IUs and then you take 4 IUs on top, it's marginal extra. But if you take 8 IUs in one go, you go straight to the top of your maximum liver IGF-1 production, whether you take insulin or not. So could you do it? Yes. Is it splitting hairs? Yes. In the end, it's about the total dosage you get in over 24 hours. And the IGF-1 in the end over 24 hours is going to be pretty much the same. But you might have a little bit more growth hormone and IGF-1 around the workout. And if you feel that's favorable a little bit earlier than going to bed, then by all means, go for it, man. Been on cycle or on cycle, when should one transfer from a bulking phase to a cutting phase? When you're a fat piece of shit. Obviously, I've been at 250 test SIP for 8 weeks, now taking 350 weekly for 4 weeks. Everything is great lab-wise. Bulk as long as you can, man, because cutting requires you to increase the dosages and increase the exposure to fat burners, and that's unhealthy. So bulking, quote unquote, assuming you eat healthy, is the least unhealthy phase that you're in, because the only thing that you're really exposing yourself to is copious amounts of food, and you let the copious amounts of food dictate how much muscle mass you're going to gain, and then you facilitate the anabolism and the recovery and additional protein synthesis with a little bit of steroids. Cool. But if you don't have a lot of food and you need additional protein synthesis, then obviously the drugs need to come up. So you bulk as long as you can while staying lean. And we discussed this a million different times in step-by-step cycle design videos, so please go give those a watch. I'm not going to watch it here, but small incremental changes in your caloric intake a couple times before you increase your drug intake. That's what you can do every 8 to 10 to 12 weeks, depending on your progress levels and how often you need to deload. And Yeah, and then eventually you're fat, you're unhappy, you're bloated, you're watery, and then it's time to cut. But maybe you need a mini diet 2 weeks, and then you're happy with how you look again. So, you know, yeah, if you can't figure it out, hire a coach. Josh has been on prescribed Lemborexant 5 milligrams at night. It's not a frontline sleep medication in my Tren book. Okay, good. That's good to hear. I guess we figured out something new. If you're on Tren, you need some orexin receptor agonism in the form of Lemborexant. I haven't found the source for it, though. I checked everywhere, and it seems to be not very popular. Let me see if AP has it. Because if anybody has medication, it's him. Lemborexant. Lambo. Not Lambo. Nope. He doesn't have it. What about Aura? Oh, Aura Farm is down. Okay. Huh. What about Reliable RX? Lemborexant. Now, that's the problem when you introduce something new, like a sleep aid. Yeah, and then nobody can get it. Joshua, if you can get it through the cabinets at your job, start a Proton Mail, Exodus wallet, and you got yourself a little side hustle. Congratulations to Big Paul's guys at the Masters and other shows. Yeah, last week he was at the Masters, right? And I thought he was going to do a live stream today, but I guess not. I guess it's up to me, which is fine. All right, next one. Benjamin, what's up, bro? 250 tests, 100 Master, 100 Primo. Estradiol was 44, feeling good. Okay. Adding 30 milligrams oxandrolone per day, 30 milligrams Winstrol 6 days ago for a beach trip. That's tomorrow. This guy is always getting ready for the beach. Any adjustments? Shall I keep the Win and oxandrolone knowing that dieting training won't be consistent enough for 1 week? Yeah, because it will keep you lean, and how much damage can you do in a week? So I would keep it in. Yeah, if you're going in for a beach, if you need to be shredded for the beach, and obviously your diet and training won't be consistent, but it should be good enough while you're there, just keep it in. And then you take the Winstrol out when the joints start to hurt. Any problems running Ezetimibe permanently? Not that I know. I mean, scientifically, it shows that it reduces omega-3 absorption, and some people get myalgia, similar to statins, that it's muscle pain. But if you don't have muscle pain, I think I've heard that twice out of all the people that I recommended the Ezetimibe to. Like, oh, I get a little bit soreness and muscle pain. I get that from statins as well. So red yeast rice, citrus bergamot, and amla extract it is. And then, you know, from red yeast rice, they don't get myalgia, even though it's a natural statin and actually prevents cholesterol synthesis just like statins do at the 17th step. So Ezetimibe can cause muscle pain in some people or in a small amount of people. And based on the scientific evidence, it can lower fatty acid absorption, omega-3s. But then all the guys that I know that tested their omega-3 fatty acid levels in serum, when they're taking copious amounts of fish oil, they have normal levels pre and post, because American Health can test that, and American Diagnostics can test that. The omega-3 levels in your bloodstream, and then, you know, the guys that recommend Ezetimibe at American Health, they would recommend, you know, a baseline of serum omega-3 content, and it seems to be pretty much the same pre or post. So scientific evidence says one thing, real world application says another thing. So I think as long as you have $20 to $25 per month to spare on Ezetimibe, I think it's fine. Mike Honcho, the ProVigorous pre-workout blend just arrived. Can you remind me of the recommended dosages to get started? First time trying injectable pre-workout. I would start with half a cc bilaterally, so that's 1 cc in total. You draw 1 cc into an insulin syringe, and you pin that about 13 millimeters deep. Don't use the 8 millimeters insulin syringes. Use the 13 millimeters, which is half an inch, I think. So that's what, 31 gauge, half an inch, 13 millimeters. So if you train chest, boom, boom, half a cc, half a cc. If you train shoulders, boom, boom. But if you do a push day, for example, so that's chest, shoulders, and triceps, and maybe abs and calves, if you still have energy at the end. Then you do it in the main muscle group that you want nasty freaking disgusting pump in. And that for me that would be chest, because my shoulders are already around. And I mean, look at this shit. Look at the width. Yeah, so I would do half a cc to get started, and 1 cc if you're a pro. I do 1 cc per side, bro. Good shit. Hey, bro, hope you're healing well. Can you recommend a website designer for online business? Use Claude. Just use Claude, man. You can design your own website. Say, I want a website like this, copy it, and then start editing it. I used the website designer about a year ago, but I think Claude can do it for you. And it's not that expensive. And you just tell Claude through Whisper what you want to do, you know, with the voice note. And then it does it for you. It's really not difficult to make your own website, man. You just have to give him the login credentials. And then otherwise, I don't know. My website was gifted to me by AP. Anabolic pharmacist say you need a new website for your birthday. Here it is. I'm like, okay, upload that shit. So, but I think now you can do it with Claude. Fasted blood glucose is always 95 to 105. Post-meal 70 85. Even in prep, no GH. Need intervention? No. You need to chill the fuck out. That's it. You're fine. From Holland, sign up for the Vigorous crew today. Love the videos, man. Welcome to the Vigorous crew. Thanks so much for your support. Voice is sounding a bit deeper, Steve. That DHT must be hitting. Yeah. I think I got a little sniffle going on. So there might be a little bit of, Barry White. Ooh, baby. Is there an estradiol range to aim for when using MENT to account for 7-alpha-methyl estradiol? How much test to MENT? Yeah, it doesn't. It detects as estradiol, but not 100% on a non-sensitive test. On a sensitive test, liquid chromatography, tandem mass spectrometry, you won't get the 7-alpha-methyl estradiol that's coming from the MENT. But on a regular test, it doesn't detect 100%. So let's say you have normal aromatization compared to testosterone. So you take 150 milligrams of test, and your serum estradiol is 30, and you add in 150 milligrams of MENT, and not accounting for the molecular weight and the ester and the blah, blah, blah. Let's say it's 1-to-1, right? You get 1-to-1 aromatization. You should get another 30 picograms per milliliter of 7-alpha-methyl estradiol. But if you do your blood work, it goes from 30 picograms per milliliter from the testosterone to maybe 37 or 40. So that's 1/3, 1/4 of the 7-alpha-methyl estradiol detecting as estradiol. Right? And now I'm pulling this number out of my ass, but based on all of the blood work that I've seen, it seems to be you get an additional 30 points or 30%, 25% of a comparative amount of estradiol, which would otherwise be coming from the testosterone. So you go from 150 tests to 150 tests plus 150 MENT. For an example, you get 10 more points on non-sensitive test and no more points on a sensitive test. So you basically make it very difficult for you to determine how much additional aromatase inhibitor you need. And that's why I always say, if you go in a MENT cycle, make sure you have a comparable dose of a DHT in there. So you go on 150 tests, 150 MENT, and 300 Primo, or 300 dihydrotestosterone Enth, or 300 milligrams Masteron, or 300 milligrams Proviron, right? I mean, those are all known to suppress serum estradiol levels. So if you get comparable aromatization between testosterone and trestrolone, you get 30 points for each. Actually, it doesn't really matter. You get a one-to-one conversion, and you can inhibit that conversion with a 1-to-1, meaning 300 milligrams you need to inhibit the conversion of 300 milligrams of test plus trestrolone. You need 300 milligrams of Primo, Masteron, Proviron, or DHT, propionate, or enanthate. Now, if you're on a gamma test and 150 milligrams trestrolone, then you probably need 1,150 milligrams of Primo to control that. Maybe less, maybe more, depends on your body fat levels, right? But it's it's something you're going to have to do through blood work and assessing your side effects, obviously. In an older video I can't seem to find, you talked about secretagogues at night and exogenous growth hormone in the morning. Is there any benefit to this? Yeah, I think that was for the injury recovery protocol. So that it's probably in the surgery recovery protocol where I would recommend maybe MK677 or ipamorelin and testosterone before bed, or another combination of a ghrelin receptor agonist and a growth hormone releasing hormone receptor agonist together in the evening. So you get the three different isoforms of growth hormone with different molecular weights. And then in the morning you take growth hormone, so you don't boost your appetite and stuff. You don't create, any kind of flushing or irritation, side effects that are associated with growth hormone secretagogues. For the 23 kilodalton molecular weight in a bonus or in a bolus administration, additional IGF-1 secretion, which then tapers down towards the end of the day, allowing for still maximum growth hormone secretion of the growth hormone, but maybe not that much more additional IGF-1. So that is in the surgery recovery protocols. I just didn't do it this time because, well, I have copious amounts of growth hormone and I recovered just fine. And I didn't want to purchase testosterone and ipamorelin and take that before bed and then risk getting hungry. And I just like, fuck it, man. I'm already injecting so much. "52 years old, 30 years in law enforcement. I plead a fifth. I just play a doctor online. I don't know what I'm talking about. This is for educational and informative purposes only. I just play a doctor online. Finding you can be going stronger than ever before. Just thank you for all the life-altering info. All right. Just don't set any of your buddies after me, okay? But I'm happy that it helps. And if you're a cool guy, send me your contact. And if I do get into trouble somewhere, somehow, some way, then after 30 years, with your 30 years connections, you can return the favor. I'm as straight edge as possible, but not always. So any good contacts to have at law enforcement, so you can help me plead a fifth, it would be great. Hey, Steve, don't you miss Netherlands? No, man. What is there to miss from the Netherlands? Bunch of import criminals and rapists? Not really. Cheese? Can get that here. Weed? Can get that here. Fat farmer girls? They're not here. Don't miss them. And there's nothing about Holland that I miss, man. Just my family. But I talk to them regularly. So, no, I'm happy that I'm not in Europe right now. That place is a fucking shithole. Hey, brother, just wanted to say, has heard not much to contribute. Was thinking about you the other day. Hope the recovery is going well. Looking forward to seeing you at the other end of the quad injury. Yeah, hopefully if you come to the Mr. Olympia, you'll see me hopping around and bodyweight squatting. 3 plates on the leg press, bro. But I can't walk stairs yet, so it's getting better. I do feel like since my quad injury, so let's say the other way is better. You have the kneecap here, and this was a quad, right? And then it tore like this, but also like this. So they had to put sutures in the middle and then through here, each part, and then reattach it. I have a feeling that there's a gap between the 2 tendons. So it ripped, again, it ripped in the middle. I had to reattach it, and reattach it. And I feel that there's a little gap. And now we're, 3 months post-op, so I don't think that can be fixed. So I might be permanently fucked. Yeah. But it's okay. It's okay. I accomplished everything I wanted in bodybuilding, and I was now it's just about maintaining. And look at these. Yeah, this is still okay. A little bit watery from the BAM 15. I can't recommend it. Tylenol fun. Thank you so much. Been on TRT for 3 years. I'm 26 years old. Oh, you started early. My God. My balls are now so small and retracted. They hurt during sex. We have to stop. Oh, yeah, they're right in the... They go inside and then at the top of your penis, right? And then every time you make some pelvic thrusts, you're actually squishing your balls. Like a walnut cracker. I use HCG. I get crazy gyno pain. I think I need to come off. Is your PST protocol ebook? No, you need to add in the HCG and the FSH. and control your serum estradiol levels. I mean, if you're on TRT for 3 years, I'm sure you do blood work. So if you go on 500 IUs, HCG 3 times a week, you need to increase your aromatase inhibitor. How difficult is it? I'm on TRT and HCG, but I don't want to use an aromatase inhibitor. All right, come off then. The PCE book is up to date, man. It's for $15. It gives you enough information to get the job done. But gyno pain you can easily prevent with an aromatase inhibitor. And if your serum estradiol is managed, your prolactin levels don't go up. It's not like HCG stimulates progesterone levels. And otherwise, stop touching your nipples, man. I mean, you don't go from, because having sex hurts to like vigorously rubbing your nipples all day long. And of course, it's going to be painful. Right? That's why marathon runners tape their nipples off so it doesn't rub against the little, running clothes. Because otherwise, it's just rubbing, and then it starts bleeding, and then you have to explain that to the officials, and what's going on, So, yeah, do some blood work and use an aromatase inhibitor and add in the HCG. Watch the videos about how to get big testicles, and you'll be fine, man. You'll be fine. Great Cerebrolisin deep dive. Curious if you still use it and when your last protocol was. Any chance you could share how you obtained it? So Disguised Alpha is selling cerebral protein, which is very, very similar to Cerebrolisin. They say it's Cerebrolisin, but it's not. Everpharma Cerebrolisin. It's very hard to test Cerebrolisin and cerebral protein, but the peptides within are very similar. So you should be able to get similar results from a 215.2 milligrams Cerebrolisin that Disguised Alpha sells. It's literally on their website. And otherwise, Everpharma at RU Pharma sells it. I mean, go to my contra of source list. It will point you in the right direction with discount codes. The last time I used it was over a year ago, basically when I made the deep dive, so I could check real quick. Cerebrolisin, I ran it for 4 months? Yeah, March 2025 is when I finished my 2-month Cerebrolisin protocol. So that's over a year. So let's say 1.5 years ago that I ran it. And I use fluvoxamine. And fluvoxamine increases neurogenesis by increasing brain-derived neurotropic factor continuously. So 50 milligrams fluvoxamine, and I'm in a good mood, and I feel neurogenic the whole time. So I don't see a reason to run Cerebrolisin again because I'm on fluvoxamine, and that gives a similar effect. And after doing all of the research, we don't know exactly what in Cerebrolisin increases brain-derived neurotropic factor. What is the neurotropic factor secretagogue peptide that's in there? So basically, technically, on paper, Cerebrolisin is an injectable protein shake of amino acid fragments. And that's about it. But it does work for sleep quality, and it does work for improving your mood and feeling more relaxed and helping with post-exercise brain fog at 5 to 10 milliliters per injection. So check the source list. It's there, whether that's U.S. domestic or coming from the Balkan area, on the East Bloc area. It's reasonably easy to obtain. Are you talking about this on the AR? Androgen receptor, how relevant is the number of gag repeats for muscle growth really? Is it only affecting androgen sensitivity, so androgens are less effective? Yeah, it's very important because it determines how long and how tightly and how much gene and protein expression you get every time a molecule of steroid is bound to the androgen receptor. Now, there's an ideal range. I can't remember how many gag repeats off the top of my head, but there's an ideal range. I discussed this in the androgen receptor deep dive, so please give that a watch. And you can test that over at Merrick Health. They have a test for gag repeats. I'll link it down below. Gag repeats, Merrick Health, and it kind of determines on how much. Or Merrick Diagnostics, sorry, they sell it. Yeah, $500. I should do this when I go to the U.S. But I'll get it comped, obviously. Right? I get it comped, right? You can get 10% discount with code Vigorous. So it's $450. So you can actually check for your androgen receptor sensitivity with the gag repeat genetic test at Merrick Diagnostics. and then kind of determine if you're an average responder or non-responder or a high responder. That would kind of determine how you would need to address your cycles. Maybe do TRT and look more into peptides, you know. Let's see, next one. Hey coach, ferritin 30, iron 64, TSH 5.8, T4. I love it when you guys don't include the reference ranges. I love it, love it. Hematocrit 53. I think my low iron and ferritin has caused thyroid regulation. How should I navigate this, coach? Could be. Maybe you're iodine deficient. Maybe, you know, like T4 was that total or free. What about your T3 levels? I mean, include the reference ranges. I need to know your diet. Basically, this requires a consultation or some medical supervision because I can't determine it from these readings. I would need to ask a ton of questions. Your thyroid stimulating hormone is high and your ferritin and iron levels are low. They're not alarmingly low. Not alarmingly low to the point your thyroid would be downregulated. I think that might be caused by something else. But what that is, you would probably need 20 minutes to, you know, get that determined with somebody. Isn't high cholesterol only problematic when paired with inflammation? Yes. LDL 110, HDL 40, triglycerides 75, high sensitivity C-reactive protein. What do you think? I think that's fine. I think that's totally fine. High sensitivity C-reactive protein over half. That's a very low inflammatory state, assuming that ferritin, neutrophil lymphocyte, and homocysteine levels are also normal. So yeah, high LDL cholesterol with high serum calcium and high inflammation, that's a recipe for cardiovascular disease. And then assuming that lipoprotein A and apolipoprotein A100, or A, right? Yeah. Lipoprotein A is also elevated, then you're fucked. But based on these readings, without the lipoprotein A, I would say that you're fine, man. I would say that you're fine. First live in a year. I've been live most weekends, but I guess you haven't checked in a while. But kept paying for my membership. Well, thanks for 8 months off. Got 85 progressive motility. Okay, that's good. Okay, so those $80 donated to Vigorous Steve were basically like a thank you donation for the 2.5-hour deep dive on fertility, which I'm sure you watched. Getting married in January. So yeah, okay. So in January you can start conceiving, right? Because a shotgun wedding, you know. We got married in January. We gave birth in let's see, September, in July, and then her dad knows what's up. Plan 300 test E, 200 mastodon, 100 primo for age growth hormone, 300 HCG every other day. Thoughts to keep fertile. Okay, get your girlfriend pregnant first, and then you can, or soon-to-be wife, get her pregnant first, and then you can think about a cycle. And ideally, you pass the first the first 3 months, right? Because you have to do the NIP test to make sure that there's no Down syndrome or other issues. And otherwise, like the last thing you want is to go on cycle and then have to restart your protocol again. Checking in. All right. Don't forget to like. Joshua, be careful. Be careful. PDF files are, everywhere too. She was 18. So I did her sister. Hope she was older. Hey, Steve. Blood sodium, reference range, yes. Potassium, 4.6, middle. What levels do you shoot for? Dude, when you have issues with your blood electrolytes, then electrolytes in serum balance themselves out really, really good. I've seen guys with terrible kidney markers, like creatinine 2.5, cystatin C 1.5, blood urea nitrogen 40, uric acid 8, 9, and protein in the urine, right? The protein plus 3, so that's a fuckload of albumin in the urine, and their serum electrolytes are just fine. So in the morning, serum electrolytes are going to be low because you've been fasting, especially sodium that just keeps excreting overnight. Like my sodium levels are low as well because I took a sodium glucose co-transporter type 2 inhibitor in the form of empagliflozin. 25 milligrams before bed. And then, I had to take that out because the DHT enanthate was causing so much mineralocorticoid and glucocorticoid receptor inhibition and promoting a lot of sodium excretion. So have one meal, and then you'll see that your sodium goes to the top of the reference range. So I would not worry about this. I would worry more about consistent and balanced electrolyte intake, so you hold minimal amounts of water at the end of the day or after cheat meals. And otherwise, DHT enanthate, man. And we'll make you hyper-excrete. It's called the Netherlands. It's in the name. Don't go there. I mean, everybody should do a trip to the Netherlands in summer and go to the Efteling, which is like the Dutch Disneyland, and Burgers Bush, which is probably one of the best zoos in the world. No joke. There's like 5 to 7 areas. Every area is like the size of a football field. And you'll see all kinds of animals roaming free. And then you have the Apenhill, which is like apes and monkeys and everything in between, including locals. Right, you got humans, apes, and monkeys, and maybe some other animals, all walking amongst each other. They're all free roaming. So hold on to your sunglasses and Dr. Dre breathes, because they might get nicked or stolen. Everybody deserves a trip to the Netherlands at least once to visit the theme parks and maybe the beach and, Amsterdam, and do a couple, house parties or raves, and then call it quits. Holland is great if you're a first-time tourist, but it is the new third world. It's not as bad as the UK and France, for example, but it is, dude, every time I get back, it's worse. And every time I go back, I feel less safe. So the last time I was there, it was summer, was okay. No, it was in winter, right? There's too many people loitering, man. It's like you feel, a certain place you feel as unsafe as you do in the United States. I mean, that's where I felt the most unsafe. besides Las Vegas, like the US, I know that feels like a very unsafe place. But, yeah. In Holland and Europe, it's just kind of cooked, man. Oh, that's what you get when you let the wrong people in. It's not the locals that are making problems, or at least a lot less, percentage-wise. Free T3, low 1.7. T4, here we go again. No ranges, 22 weeks into the diet, trying to increase metabolic rate. My coach recommends T4 to T3 conversion. Thought, what is your caloric intake? Are you taking any drugs that could increase or lower thyroid hormones? Give me some more details, bro. It's yes, you could. TSH is low, so you don't need supplementation. If TSH was high, I would say you need some supplementation to replenish T4 levels and thus increase the conversion of T4 into T3. But with a TSH of 1.9, I think you're normal. It might be low because you're on steroids and you've been dieting for a while, and that lowers thyroid binding globulin. So the free and the total T4 is low because it's not really bound and it's just being used. And if you're 22 weeks into a diet, why don't you do a reverse diet for a week or two? I did it this week. Add a little bit more carbs, increase your body temperature. I'm sure my thyroid levels improved. Trying to escape the Netherlands too, going to Thailand in September. Okay, I won't be there. I'll be at the Mr. Olympia. Yeah, once you really escape the Netherlands, you unregister, so you're not tax obligated there. You keep onto your Dutch passport until they start coming after you. Then you get one in the Dominican Republic or something like that. And then, then you're truly van God los, which means detached from God. Had a split in my patellar tendon too. Stem cell and PRP therapy helped piece it back together. Yes, so I've had 3 injections with PRP, but I might have to do stem cells. There's still a good amount of scar tissue and inflammation on my knee, but it's getting a lot less. And now when I kind of rub over the area with my finger, I can feel that there's like a little gap. And I'm not happy about that. But hey, I can leg press, I can walk, I can bodyweight squat. I don't feel comfortable walking up the stairs yet, but yeah, I might have to do some stem cells. But hey, I'm close to 43 years old now. In 2 months, I'm 43. So I think I'm a good candidate for stem cells, and then we'll just go to we'll get the influencer special over at BioAccelerator. and just have to pay for the flight and the hotel, but get everything else comped and make a couple videos. Scroll down a little bit. Test E versus test Decanoate for HRT, TRT. It doesn't matter if the injection frequency is the same. Yes, you'll get more net testosterone for the testosterone enanthate compared to testosterone decanoate, because the decanoate ester is a little bit bigger, a little bit more carbon atoms within that formulation. So you get more net testosterone enanthate versus decanoate. But if you inject every other day or every day or 3 times a week, you're not going to see much of a difference. It might take a while for serum levels to increase for comparing testosterone enanthate for test decanoate. Both of them are Bayer testivirin and castor oil, so that shouldn't affect it if you go with the pharmaceutical one. Yeah, so you go with testivirin versus Nebido, right? But I think it was pretty much the same, man. The problem is testivirin is like half the price of Nebido on a milligram for milligram basis. So why go with, Nebido, testosterone decanoate? I would only inject like 4 cc's decanoate if I go away for 4 weeks. And I can't possibly bring any, like, let's say I go to Australia and I'm not going to visit any gyms, or Sweden, steroid phobic countries, where they check your luggage, and you get profiled, and you get the pat down and the reach around and the prostate exam just to look for ampules, but no BJs. Yeah, there I would inject 4 cc's testosterone decanoate and leave, hopefully low body fat would prevent too much aromatization. Assuming I don't visit any gyms and I walk into normally I could walk into a gym and I'm like, hey, where's the test at? I'm sure anybody, any gym I could walk into in the world, somebody would be willing to provide. But let's say I go to Australia or Sweden and I end up in the fjords or somewhere in the outback, then I would inject a whole ampule, a whole 4 cc's of Nebido, and be on my way. They got Liver King locked up there with them. Is that guy still around? Ooh. What's your top brain and cognition protocol stack, and which specific compounds in delivery? Oh, yeah. Bro, watch the Entrepreneur Nootropic Deep Dive series. It's all explained there. Right now, for me, it's KW6536 to stimulate wakefulness. It's an adenosine receptor antagonist, similar to caffeine, but it has a very long half-life. So 1.25 milligrams in the morning, it keeps me awake all day. Is great. Whether I take fuckload of growth hormone or not, I'm awake all day, which is what I want. Because now the weather is kind of hot, and especially 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I get fucking sleepy and unproductive. But the KW6536 is keeping me going all day long. Good sleep, fluvoxamine, obviously. I occasionally take bromantane, 50 milligrams. I occasionally take dihexa, 10 milligrams. I occasionally take Nupep twice per day in combination with bromantane or dihexa. Sometimes I take phenylparacetam because I have it layering around, or oxy or whatever acetam. It starts with an O, because Jack from Disguised Alpha keeps sending me nootropics. You got to try this, bro. You got to try that. So I just, most of the nootropics, if it's not fluvoxamine, fluvoxamine is in 24/7. The mitochondrial peptides really help with the energy levels, but I wouldn't say that they're good nootropics. I would say that injectable L-carnitine is a better nootropic than mitochondrial peptides. I don't use Max or Slank anymore because I get all the neurogenesis from fluvoxamine, and it just I get more benefits, more productivity, more cognition out of bromantane, dihexa, and Nupept. And then once in a while I throw in a uridine 5-monophosphate and an alpha GPC, right? It's all described in the Entrepreneur Nootropic Deep Dive video series. And you have to figure out what works for you. Because what works for me might not work for you. Like we discussed this on the Peptide Bros, right? They have much better or much different approaches to their nootropic stacks than I do. And for that, everybody's individual. Individual response, you just got to try them all and see which ones you like. I see cut blends of 50 test, 50 master, and 50 trends. Are they meant to run with nothing else? What's the point? Yeah, this is just for injection convenience, just like a glow stack. But a glow stack or a glow stack, that actually works. These rip mixes and cut blends and off-season side, test Deca and EQ, for example, that's for the uninitiated that are... that are new to the game, but I wouldn't run it. I like to make my own blends. Here are the levels, TSH 5. And you still don't give the reference ranges. What you need is T4 or T3, 100 micrograms. Just go in 100 micrograms, Rob. Drop that TSH down. Drop it down to the gutter. You might need some armored thyroid, man. I don't know. There's so much things that could be wrong. And you haven't given me any indication of what could be the problem. You just give me your blood work. Is there anything I should look out for when starting DHT Enth? I've used both Primo and Masteron before, no higher than 300 milligrams of each. Yeah, it dries you out. And it lowers your blood pressure. So... you need to make sure that you're on top of your electrolytes. Obviously, I am. Right? I take copious amounts of magnesium bisglycinate, and I salt all my meals. I take potassium chloride with all of my meals and potassium-rich foods. But it does inhibit the glucocorticoid and mineralocorticoid receptors, and thus aldosterone levels goes down, and you kind of hyper-excrete, whether you're on a growth hormone or anadrol or not. So you lose a boatload of electrolytes. So if you're running a empagliflozin, SGLT2 inhibitor, which promotes sodium excretion, you got to stop that. If you're running a diazide or another diuretic to control your blood pressure, you got to stop that. You might have to stop the telmisartan. I had to drop it from 40 milligrams to 20 milligrams per day. And yeah, the DHT Enth makes your skin thin. I'm holding a little bit of water from the BAM15. You can see it comparatively, right? You see that there's a lot of water in here. I don't have this separation here. So I'm stopping the BAM15. It was a fun experiment, but I really feel like I'm poisoning myself. So that's out of the picture. I prefer ATX304 for fat loss. Fat loss is about the same at 100 milligrams per day, even though BAM15 is a little bit more potent, but you also feel more toxic. Anyway, that's not DHT Enth. So yeah, I try like 150 milligrams DHT Enth for 3 weeks, see how you respond to what you need to reduce medication-wise and what you need to increase electrolyte-wise. See how your skin texture changed and how much thinner and leaner and drier you get before bumping it up to 300 milligrams. Because Primo does not excrete as much as DHT. A Masteron does not excrete as much as DHT. So regarding from an electrolyte excretion level, Primo, Masteron, DHT. From an anabolism perspective, Primo, DHT, Masteron. And from a skin thinness perspective, DHT, Masteron, Primo. That's how I would rank it. So I'm going to stop the DHT Enth next week. So that it'll be 6 weeks. Right? I made very good progress regarding my physique. I'll run Primo for 6 weeks as a bridge at 300 milligrams. So I started, let's say, June the 14th. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks till now. Then I run Primo for 6 weeks, starting at the 27th. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 until the 6th of September. And then 3 weeks into the Mr. Olympia Expo, I'll run DHT Enth, which I think is enough time to really get that skin thinning effect and maybe additional hyper excretion. And then for anybody that's at the Mr. Olympia booth, please come have a look. I'll wear a skimpy outfit so you guys can see how thin my skin is and how little amounts of water retention I have, because it's quite dramatic. Yeah, it's quite dramatic. I would not combine DHT Enth with Turinabol, which is an aldosterone synthase inhibitor. You probably piss out so much sodium that, you literally get a heart attack. Or at least cramp first and then get a heart attack. I'm 26, just PCT and young to get good sperm parameters, hoping to look my best at a wedding with the cycle. What age should I be able to maintain with HCG enough? What age should I be able to maintain? What, maintain your sperm parameters? It will never be as good as when you're on cycle. So 500 IS HCG 3 times a week sustains fertility parameters, but will never have the same fertility parameters as when you're off cycle. So good fertility parameters will only come when you get off cycle. Now, if you're 26, you can probably get away with testosterone and HCG and have good fertility parameters, good enough to get your partner pregnant. But when you're 40 or 35 or 30, you probably need to come off. So good sperm, once you have it, freeze it. Freeze like 10 samples. If you want to do intrauterine insemination, a couple tries, and then IVF later on. If that doesn't work, but again, if you're 26, how old is your partner? I doubt she's 40. So she's like 23, 25, 20, 28 maximum, right? So she's in that fertile range. So you probably don't have much to worry about. Like me and my wife were both 40, right? So it took a year, and it took me a year to get my fertility parameters back. So it took 2 years, and I was like, fuck this shit, IVF. And I have a beautiful daughter who every day reminds me that she was well worth the $50,000 that I had to spend on the entire process of all the fertility medications and the IVF and all the trials and tribulations in between, and then the insurance for my wife for the pregnancy, and the insurance for the giving birth and the giving birth bill. So it was about $50K before my daughter was born. If you can prevent that, $50K is a nice car or a nice motorbike. Or it's not a down payment for a house now. Maybe in 2028, after everything collapses. But yeah, freeze your sperm, get her pregnant first, and looking good at the wedding. I mean, who you want to impress? Your wife? I think you'll impress her more if she's pregnant, bro. And you can get lean on TRT and HCG. How are DHT derivative compounds or even DHT itself anabolic with the 3-hydroxysteroid dehydrogenase scoops? If you take enough of it, it's that simple. And if you have a testosterone base, which also is metabolized through the 3-alpha-steroid dehydrogenase enzymes, then DHT derivatives, whether that's DHT, Primo, Masteron, Provard, etc., Anavar, Winstrol, they inhibit the 3-HSD enzymes and prevent the breakdown of testosterone. Just like DHT inhibits the breakdown of testosterone into estradiol. All right? So these compounds, they inhibit each other's breakdown. That's how you have to look. That's how you have to look at it. That's why low test and high masteron is such a silly idea. But high test and moderate masteron is a better idea. Right? Testosterone gives you fullness and anabolism, and masteron is just a cosmetic enhancing drug. So if you take a boatload of cosmetic enhancing drug, it's just going to enhance you cosmetically and make you look flat. Sure, if you're in classic physique and you have a weight to make, but a bodybuilding protocol, and all the guys that love masteron, they also love 3 grams of test. They just don't tell you about it. It's like do as I say, not as I do. All right? I only post my blood work when I'm cruising. I'm on to you, stupid fuckers. So yeah, take enough drugs and metabolism from 3-alpha-hydroxysteroid dehydrogenase or glucuronidase or sulfation is a non-issue. Best dihexa protocol cycle can be combined with methylblue. Yes, 10 milligrams per serving as needed. I don't get why people take Adipotide when fat dissolves like Bella and Aqualix exist. Makes no sense. Yeah, people want a shortcut, man. I mean, you know, there's so many options nowadays. You can do the cryo freezing, right, where they literally put like it's actually FDA approved for like fat here, so they freeze this area, and then or was it lipocryolysis is what it's called. And then over time, the fat cells kind of break down and release their adipose tissue. And then they don't come back because they're literally destroyed. So why take Adipotide when you can freeze it Or why take Adipotide when you can get localized fat loss with the glucagon injections or Helios injections? Or what we're working on over at Disguised Alpha, localized fat loss agents, right? You have ATX, we have BAM15, we have DNP, we have Sana, MVSD1. That's all coming out. SLU. There's so many other options before you can look into Adipotide. I would look into DNP before Adipotide. And I would look into DNP last and Adipotide never. But people are going to people. Stupidity is going to stupidity. And, it's totally fine. It's fine until you get kidney failure. It's fine until problems arise. Right? And I went against my own advice to take BAM15 for 14 days just to see how it would compare to ATX 304 to run the experiment. I feel atrocious for 2 weeks. I don't feel good. I'm water retentive. I feel like I'm poisoning myself. Do I get great fat loss? Absolutely. It's great fat loss. Did I get great fat loss from the ATX in combination with SLU? Absolutely. But I didn't feel like I was poisoning myself. So with so many options out there, why would you take something that you know could destroy your body or literally makes you feel like an ass, like DNP or BAM15? It just makes you feel horrible. So why would you? At least I get paid to talk about it. But I would, Adipotide, no thanks. I'd rather do the cryolipolysis or whatever it's called. Thoughts on Lyle McDonald's rapid fast loss? Yeah. I don't know. That guy seems to be full of hate, so I don't know. That guy's so full with hate. I mean, anybody that's like obsessed with another person, just got a few screw loose, Is it Lyle? I mean, he's obsessed with what's his name? The RP guy. And he makes just hundreds of videos about the guy. And it's in my feed. I'm like, Jesus. Well, Then again, and I look at his pictures. Jesus. It looks like a Sasquatch. Anyway, I have no idea. I don't follow the guy. I read his ketogenic diet book, which was actually pretty good. He wrote a diet about, or a book about ketogenic dieting back in the day. It was a pretty good book, but rapid fat loss diet, I'm not really sure. 3 weeks mini cuts, people have been doing that for ages. So if you need a little bit of information from the guy, go read it. But I don't know, if you want to do a mini cut, just fast. It goes really fast. Steve, are you still taking low dose MENT with your DHT Enanthate? No, I never took it with DHT Enanthate, but I would suppose that it would be a good combination. So 300 test, 150 DHT Enanthate, or 300 test, 150 MENT, and 300 DHT Enanthate would be a good stack, but I want to run it solo and then see how it compares with Primo. And dude, I'm already 220 pounds. Lean. Do I need more drugs? Not really. What dose, how are gains, and how long do you keep taking the MENT? I'm not taking MENT. But I would take, if I were to take MENT, 300 test, 300 DHT Enanthate, and 150 MENT. Watching while do push day. Dude, focus on your workout. Bringing a phone into the gym is a no-go. Put the phone down. You can watch this later. Focus on your workout. I want to mix my test Primo EQ so I don't drawing 3 times a day for daily injections. What's the best process to mix into a sterile vial? There's no... You just put it all in the sterile vial, you shake it, and you draw when you need it. What else is there? What are you confused about, Tom and Jerry? You take your 1 cc test, 1 cc Primo, 1 cc EQ, or 2 cc test, 1 cc Primo. No, that doesn't make sense. 1 cc test, 3 cc's, 2 cc's test, 600 milligrams, 3 cc's Primo, 300 milligrams, and 1 cc EQ, 300 milligrams. So that's a 1-to-1 ratio, right, of aromatizable compound to aromatase inhibiting compound. 600 test, 300 Primo, 300 EQ. And you inject 2, 5, 1, 6, 2 milliliters 3 times a week. Man, you should be able to figure this out yourself, bro. Steve, I was doing cable crossovers, and my last backoff set, I strained my bicep. I was using Test E500 Anavar pre-workout, 200 milligrams YK11 GH. Okay. Okay, take a week off and rest. Keep on the cycle. I don't know what the question is. When talking about making your own blends, is it as simple as mixing your ratios into a 30 milliliter sterile vial? Oh, that's what he wants to know? Oh, that's somebody else. And shaking it vigorously, is there more to it? No, that's it. That's it. When it comes to steroids, you just blend it together and shake it, and then you're done. Then you're ready to pin. Quark once said, you can't fix a fool, but you can lighten his wallet. Steve, you probably talked about this before, but do you use Grillamine HMB? Yeah, it's still in my stack. They're actually going out of stock because it's not really selling well. So I think this is the last batch of the HMB calcium that they have. So I'm using 500 milligrams 4 times a day with my with meals supplements. I have 4 meals, 1 shake. Seems to be getting the job done. No more 5 meals in 1 shake. I don't want to be 240, 270 pounds again. 220, 225 is where I draw the line now. I'm a daddy. I don't want to kill myself. I'm too old for that shit. Don't want to snore. Don't want to use a CPAP. Ugh, shit sucks. So I take the calcium HMB 4 times a day, 2,000 milligrams, and yeah, I think it helps. It reduces soreness. That's the only thing I really noticed from it. Was I still sore after 6 weeks not going to the gym? Of course I was. But after the 2-week reintroduction of the gym period, I'm not sore anymore. So I had a little bit shoulder soreness, but I think that's from riding motorbike. I might have pushed the Valkyrie a little bit too hard. In gear 5, and I was so used to riding the Triumph Rocket 3, which has 6 gears, that every time I'm in 5th gear, I'm like, I get too excited. I'm reaching like 170 kph, and then I'm like, time to get the 6th gear. But there's no 6th gear. So, yeah, if you know, you know. But yeah, you can add it in. I mean, will it make a difference regarding soreness? Yes. Regarding anabolism, probably not. I mean, leucine, BCAAs, glycine, I think that does more for protein synthesis than HMB does. But it does seem to reduce soreness a little bit, which is annoying, you know. I'm using Anavar to grow taller. Okay. We're not talking about this. I don't know how you got a membership, but we don't talk about this, bro, because that means you're young. And there's limits to the advice that I can give. So height protocols, we don't do. I would advise you to do as much research as I can. And deploying fluvoxamine when you're using Anavar to grow, I don't think you're ready for this shit. I don't think you're ready for what you're doing. But I cannot help you because you're clearly underage. And if you're doing this while you're 21, then you're too late. Those growth plates have closed, bro. Can you take 20 milligrams SLU PP332 and 50 milligrams mirabegrone 30 minutes before the workout, and also while you're on 10 milligrams methylene blue upon waking? Yes. Yes. I don't see why not. Why not? Would I notice any difference in ball size adding in HCG when I'm currently on test mass and primo 700 milligrams total? Yes. 500 IUs 3 times a week? Yes, you will. Yes, you will. And then give a couple pumps for Uncle Steve. You know? I dedicate these 3 next pumps to Uncle Steve. And you have the balls is like a 3. At least 3, bro. If you're in Dubai, 3 pumps for the Russian prostitutes. Over at, not at Bino's gym anymore. That one place down, the place burned down. But any other gym that hosts the Russian prostitutes or the East Bloc prostitutes. You got to feed the family back home, man. Russia's at war. 3 pumps for Uncle Steve with your enlarged balls. And the rest you can dedicate to yourself. Best protocol for gyno surgery coming up. Surgeon said mine isn't horrible, so I don't have to go under full anesthesia, but currently 200 tests GH per week. Yeah, so stay on that, and I watch the gyno videos, because it's all explained there. It's all explained there. All right, it's the TB500, the BBC 157, the GSK copper. I have videos on this shit, bro. Come on. Yes, sir, I'm out. Good. Enjoy your workout. 2 clicks of 20% cream and 40 milligrams testosterone propionate every other day with 250 IOs HCG every fourth day. I would increase the HCG to 500 IOs 3 times a week. It's too low. I want to try 200 test E once a week with 250 IOs HCG once a week. Why? Why are you inducing so much potential aromatization? Split up your dosages. If you're going off the cream, the testosterone cream, 70 milligrams testosterone Enth Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 500 IOs HCG, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, in between your testosterone injections. Check your blood work to see your serum testosterone total free, bioavailable, SHBG, estradiol, and beta HCG levels. Just to make sure your HCG is legit, because there's so many shit sources out there. And then I'm going to take 500 IOs HCG and you get your beta HCG levels back, and it's not even 5. It should be at least 13 to 15 milliliters per milliliter the day after the injection. And you don't need to switch. You just switch to the new protocol one day to the next, and then you check your serum estradiol levels 4 weeks into it to see if you need an aromatase inhibitor, which you most likely will need to. In reply to the KX826 hair loss question. Oh, okay. Jackson, you don't need the super chat, bro. You already put enough money in my pocket. This is the owner of Disguised Alpha, by the way. It's been more effective in studies for androgen receptor binding affinity than RU. Okay, yeah, so this is this new topical anti-androgen, right? But from my own use, from what I've heard, the community RU58841 is better. Yeah. So again, with these kinds of new compounds, give it a try, because the KX826, I heard about it. It's reasonably new, and there's not so many anecdotal experiences and reports of it. So you could switch from RU58841, what is it, 1 milligram to 5 milligrams topically, and then switch back to KX, and then again give that a try and see if you get some hair loss in return. PP485 and RU is still the best DHT androgen-related hair loss besides finasteride and dutasteride. Yeah, but the topical options, including GHK copper and just a good diet and low stress, that's the best. Tristalone Thoughts. Watch the deep dive, bro. Best shit ever. Convinced me not to run my first cycle. Test only, 33-year-old natty for 16 years. So the 16 years bodybuilding and training, I assume. Now Reda and growth hormone, not natty anymore, but you didn't shut down your HPTA, because Reda is a pharmaceutical drug that, well, GH is not natty. Reda is not on the doping list. Total testosterone 600, free 100. I don't compete. The urge is killing me. Just get started, man. Just get started with TRT. You're 33. Your testosterone levels are less than 600. You've been training natty for 16 years. Just get started, man. Watch all the first cycle videos and start at 150 milligrams a week. 50 milligrams Monday, Wednesday, Friday. 4 weeks into it, you add in the HCG 500 IOs Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Do blood work before you do it to see if you need an aromatase inhibitor before you start HCG. You certainly will need an aromatase inhibitor by week 8 when you check your blood work again. And then from that point on, you can start banging the 25-year-olds with your serum testosterone at 1,000 nanograms per deciliter. And improve your physique, and then send us an update. So 8 weeks from now, let's say end of September at the Mr. Olympia, you've been on cycle for, you already got it laying at home. The urge is killing me. You already been shopping, so I'm pretty sure you have testosterone and HCG at home. You can start on Monday, bro. Monday, 27th of July, 50 milligrams test. Tuesday, no HCG the first month. So you start 50 milligrams 3 times a week. Tomorrow, Monday, it's Sunday for me. Sunday, 1 a.m. 1 month, August, test only. September, test an HCG after doing blood work. And then let us know, end of September, man. how wonderful your life is on TRT. 16 years training, Natty. You've earned it. Go for it. What's the lowest effective dose for primo cosmetic effects? Looking to add a little bit to TRT at 10% body fat. I would say 100 milligrams. But at 150 to 200 milligrams, you probably get more out of it. Currently on 150 tests, 500 IOs, HCG 3 times a week. Yeah, I would say 150. Let's start with 150. Double the androgen load. You can reduce your aromatase inhibitor because 150 primo for 150 tests plus HCG should be enough to get your estradiol favorable. Are we still doing ebooks for affiliate orders? No, man, it was June. And the first 2 weeks of July, I still gave people their free ebooks, but now it's the end of July. That deal is done, guys. That deal is gone. I already had the consultation with people. There was one guy who spent $8,000 fucking dollars. $8,000. Can you believe that? In second place was $6,500. There's some rich fuckers out there to use my code. Yeah, 8,000. Let's say average of 20%. And I made $1,600 out of that person. Yeah. Insane, dude. So those guys get free consultations. Now, if you put in an order that's like, or a couple orders in July that are like 4 figures, sure. I'll send you an ebook or two. Like there was one guy who got like 4th place with $4,500, and he'd send me 3 orders, so it's $1,500 each, right? 3 orders, 3 ebooks, and I'm like, dude, take all the other ebooks too, man. You spent so much money using my code. Take all the fucking ebooks. I felt bad for the guy because he missed out. Peach. Make Daddy Steve happy. Yeah, I would love to put my nose and lips in between that peach. Who doesn't? HCG 1,000 IOs 3 times a week took my testosterone, took me to 950 total tests and 340 ultra estradiol. Yeah, so it's both at the top of the reference range on HCG monotherapy. Yeah, that's good shit, man. That's good shit. Oh, we're done. We're at the end. Yay. All right, guys. Enjoy your weekend. No. Now we can be more selective. If you're obese with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, what would you run along with a deficit? NAFLD is extremely effectively gone, and now I'm in a normal weight range on TRT and Reda, but I want a little more. It depends, where you hold the stubborn fat. Like the NAFLD, I mean, you can get rid. Usually, the visceral fat and the fat in the liver goes away first, and then it's the adipose tissue, and then it kind of goes from the outside in. So face, hands, feet, and then calves, forearms, neck, and then torso and quads and arms. And then the last place you hold fat is basically your butt, your lower back, and your lower abs. So that's basically a kind of fat. It starts at the center, so liver fat and visceral fat, and then it kind of goes from the outside in, what's on the outside. So if you want more fat loss, there's a million things you can look into. There's MOTS-c, there's SLU-PP332, there's ATX, there's BAM15, which I wouldn't recommend, but still people use it. There's clenbuterol, there's ephedrine, there's mirabegron, there's albuterol, there's GC1, thyroid hormones. But the most effective for me, the most effective fat loss that I got the last 6 weeks was 100 milligrams SLU-PP332 over 2 servings, so 50 milligrams morning, 50 milligrams evening, with 50 milligrams ATX304 morning and evening, 1 milligram MOTS-c pre-workout or morning of rest days, and then Reda and DHT Enanthate. DHT Enanthate really helps with fat loss. It seems like it's one of the most lipogenic steroids out there. Now, Anavar anecdotally helps with a little bit of fat loss off the lower abs, and Trenbolone similarly, right, by speeding up your metabolism. But DHT Anabolic, like the fat loss this last couple of weeks have been so easy. I almost feel like I'm hurting my body, but the blood work says otherwise. My blood work actually looks good. We discussed it last weekend. I mean, it's not perfect at 43 years old after almost 20 years of, or at least 15 years of steroid and pharmacology use and abuse here and there. All right. I mean, I've been abusing the BAM15, not really, but BAM15 is technically abuse because I'm not for it. So there's a million different things you can look into, but it depends on how you look and what you can tolerate. Because I don't like clenbuterol or albuterol or ephedrine, but I do like mirabegron. So you always have an alternative. Where did you get that awesome t-shirt? I got this here in Thailand, and then I bought 10 of them in Japan, but they're no longer being produced. So this is Elite Grips, it's called. I gave away 8 of them at the Mr. Olympia 2 years ago. And that's it. Elite Grips, you may be able... Nah, Rakuten doesn't have it anymore. We checked a while back. Rakuten... It's like a website where you can buy Japanese goods and they in between it for you. Clothing... Oh, you have to log in. You have to log in now. Fuck. I'm not going to make an account. It's called Elite Grips. You might be able to find it, but last time I looked, they didn't have this one in stock. Any reason not to use dapagliflozin year-round? I mean, if it dehydrates you too much and you constantly go hypoglycemic, then obviously you don't need that. But I prefer empagliflozin for reasons I can't remember. I did a research of empagliflozin versus dapagliflozin. Both are SGLT2 inhibitors. And I came to the conclusion that empagliflozin would work better for me at 25 milligrams before bed. But yeah, I would run that year-round if I wasn't on DHT Anabolic. You know? Planning on using 500 milligrams test for bulk. I'm going to add 500 milligrams of Masteron and some Winstrol for a cut. Save the Winstrol for the end of the cut because you can only run it for 4 to 6 weeks before your joints are going to hurt. If I expect acne, how should I introduce a 20 milligrams Accutane? I would do 10 milligrams Accutane Monday, Friday. That's it. But watch the acne deep dive and explore all other options before you throw in the Accutane, because Accutane with Winstrol, that's joint pain and maybe muscle tears. So be careful. Be careful. Make sure that you don't create a scenario where acne can grow or thrive, so you don't need the Accutane. But if you do need Accutane, 10 milligrams Monday, Friday, without Winstrol is what I would do. How do you feel on BAM15? I feel like shit. I feel tired. If it wasn't for the KW6536, then I'd be sleeping and lethargic all day. And I feel hot and sweaty, but it's not as bad as DMP. So 100 milligrams BAM15 is tolerable. But yeah, I feel off. One of my cats is going nuts downstairs. It's 1:30, girl. Leave me alone. Any updates on the ATX? What dose inside? So I ran 200 milligrams for the first week. It was a bit too much. Then I dropped it to 100 milligrams, 50 milligrams morning and evening. And that seemed to be quite sustainable. It gave me steady fat loss on top of SLU. It did make me a little bit lethargic. So the first 2 weeks, I didn't add in the SLU, and then I added in the SLU back in at 100 milligrams per day, and that seemed to overcompensate for the lethargy and the tiredness the ATX 304 was causing. So again, 50 milligrams SLU morning with 50 milligrams ATX 304 in the morning, and then again in the evening. I wouldn't take it pre-workout because that would just kind of defeat the purpose and make your workout less productive, because they are mitochondrial uncouplers that do make energy production less effective and thus decrease the capacity of your workout and increase your body temperature. And that's the last thing I want when I'm training in a gym without air conditioning. I'm already sweating enough as it is. So 50 milligrams SLU ATX in the morning and evening away from the workout. And the side effects is that I felt lethargic, but that was mitigated with KW and SLU. And every day I woke up and my lower back was leaner and leaner and leaner and leaner and leaner. And now I almost don't have lower back anymore. It's like literally gone. But I'm watery from the BAM 15. So the BAM 15 was the same thing. Lower back, less every single day. What I ate a little bit more carbs than usual because, these compounds do flatten you out a little bit. I mean, it works on the Krebs cycle. You get a lot of, the glucose disposal, obviously, not like metformin, but actual glucose disposal in the Krebs cycle. Metformin just disposes the glucose in your intestinal tract by preventing its absorption. I got hypo here and there on ATX and on BAM 15 because, again, you burn through the carbs so fast, so I had to increase my carbohydrate intake a little bit. That didn't seem to affect my my fat loss. So fat loss the last 6 weeks has been stellar. But it does feel physically as that it comes at a price by making you feel off. And for that reason alone, even though my blood work on 4 weeks ATX was okay, I didn't do it on BAM 15. I would do it tomorrow, right? After 2 weeks on BAM 15. It does feel that you're putting additional toll on your body that might be considered unhealthy, might be considered unnatural. So, that's what I would do it short term to get rid as much fat as possible, and then you throw in the towel. Oh, and with ATX, I will say that I feel that it inhibited my muscle gain because switching from 4 weeks ATX, I felt that I wasn't making as much progress as I should be on 300 test, 300 DHT. And then switching to BAM 15, even though it makes you uncouple more and makes you more flat, I did fill out more, and I felt that I got stronger faster at a rate, or stronger at a normal rate. Whereas with the ATX, I felt like blunted anabolism. Because again, it's a pan-AMPK activator, so it lowers mTOR. And even though in scientific evidence, ATX in the animal models wasn't blunting muscularity and performance. I mean, when you're a bodybuilder and you're in tune with your body, I could definitely feel it. And if you go back a couple of Vigorous Q&As, I told you guys that I was not super impressed by the anabolism of the DHT enanthate, but I think that's because the ATX was kind of suppressing the anabolism and the recovery. So that's a little bit of a downside from a bodybuilding perspective, right? It feels like you're at the benefit of fat loss, which is dramatic. At the benefit of fat loss, it feels that you're blunting your anabolic potential. Would that be different on 2 grams of gear? I'm not sure. That's not something I want to do anymore, or at least now, not now. 600 milligrams is my limit. 300 test, 300 DHT, 300 test, 300 primo. All right, that's fine. I felt more anabolic on BAM 15, but I also felt more toxic on BAM 15. And again, if I do a front double bicep, it's a little bit bigger, a little bit fuller. 10 lines of peace. But you see, I'm missing the detail that I had last weekend or the weekend before. Right? Normally, this would be like in. You'd have more separation in here, right? I still have bicep splits. Still have the little microfibers, but I have a little bit of water retention. Now, here it's not that dramatic. Fuck it. Here, gotta pull this up a little bit. Here in the lower back, and this used to be in. This used to be like this at the end of the day. Now it's, I don't know. Let's see when the BAM 15 is out, a week from now. Next week, I'll switch to Primo. Then the DHT enanthate will still be in my system. I'll stop the BAM 15. I won't reintroduce ATX for 1 or 2 weeks. I'll probably do 4 more weeks of ATX at the end of the Primo cycle. And then give you guys a final update how the ATX compared to BAM 15, and then being some time off and then switching back. But the ATX, I'm very happy about. Yeah. I feel that the side effects of ATX are worth it, and BAM 15 not, right? The water retention, feeling a little bit toxic and sick. Yeah. You know? Not worth it to me. Man, I gotta pee. Sorry, it's been 2.5 hours. Give me a break. I'll be right back, okay? 1 second. Now we're back. Um, 2 years ago. That's insane. I really remember you getting them like it was yesterday. What do you mean? What did I get 2 years ago? I don't know. I've done up to 200 milligrams BAM 15 as a GDA at night with 9 to 12 IU Serostim. Ooh, I bet you were sweating your tits off. Any inputs on reversing type 2 diabetes? Remove the carbs and increase the energy expenditure. And then it's manageable. But type 2 diabetes is a lifestyle disease. And you have to change your lifestyle to overcome it. So reversing it is making sure that you don't burden your pancreas with excess carbohydrates or zero carbohydrates. Maybe fasting. Read the Obesity Code by Dr. Jason Fung. Give that one a read or download. I'm sure you can find the PDF somewhere. Read that one front to back, fast for a week, then remove the carbs from your diet and introduce some healthy animal meat sources. Yeah. Maybe not steak for you, but yeah, probably in India, based on that currency. No steak for you. And imagine if steak was the one that reverses type 2 diabetes. Would you? Would you? Are you still running Matsi? Yes. Does DHT topical have the same effect as injectable? No. No. It doesn't really go systemic, but if you rub it on your PP or on your nipples, you get a localized effect. On your PP, it will grow your PP. I gained an inch with DHT annotate, TB500, BBC157, and Bathmate protocol. That's an inch in length and an inch in girth. I had to stop because my wife was not happy. And on DHT injectable, I gained more than an inch on my quads and my arms and my ego. So, and my penis got bigger, but not an inch. Maybe it's because I'm not penis pumping. But a DHT annotate definitely has some PP effect. If you rub it on your breast, then you have anti-gyno effects. But I did the surgery. Hey, you answered your own question. I did DHT topical every other day. DHT came back at 54. Reference range 65. When I did DHT topical every day, DHT was 442. Okay, so it does go systemic. Yeah. Mine was out of the reference range with the injectable. So it does go systemic, but yeah, it seems to have more of a localized effect. Might be good to thin the skin somewhere, you know? Let's see, where are we? Oh, Bayer-Rimabon has been available in pharmacies in Turkey for the last 2 to 3 years. If the product you brought come in Turkish language packaging, they may be counterfeit, so please be careful. So, no, I'll show you. I'll show you. I have, was it 50 ampules? Bayer-Rimabon. The oil is thick. I might not be able to see it. I checked the serial code with the Turkish pharmacy app. Now, that doesn't mean anything because it, the counterfeits can use the same codes on that network. But this is from the last batch. This is literally the last batch of Bayer-Rimabon that was produced 3 years ago. So this has an expiration date of 2028. It's produced in, 2024, so that's 2 years ago, yeah. And no, this is definitely legit, man. This is definitely legit. So I will be the guy that runs the last bit of Bayer-Rimabon. You guys remember these? These are also not produced anymore. The lady from the pharmacy here that supplies most guys with steroids, she was, Steve, I got 200 boxes of Meridian Bonivar left. It's close to the expiration date. I can't sell it. Do you want it? And I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll take all. So she sold it to me like $13 a box or something, or $12 a box, 400 baht it was. And yeah, I just bought all of it. Then I've been running a lot of Anavar, obviously, for the quad tendon recovery protocol. So I have 2 boxes left. So I might run that before the Mr. Olympia just to say that I'm on, all the good stuff. But yeah, Bayer-Rimabon is legit. Don't worry about it. It's double checked. I had AP check it. The anabolic pharmacist had a look at it, and he's like, "Yeah, that's legit, bro. So don't worry about it." So, yeah, it's an old batch. I like to sit on stuff. You buy your Bitcoin, you sit on it. You buy a license plate, you sit on it. You sell it when it's the right time, or you sit on the Bonivar. Use it at the right time. The Oxandrolone or the Rimabon, used it at the right time. Good stuff. Yeah. Girlfriend is going HRT for perimenopause. The clinics only prescribe a patch of transdermal gel. They don't prescribe estrophyte injectable estradiol. Do you think industry will move to injections? I have no idea what the industry will do. You can buy estradiol valerate over at 5AR Society. I have that linked in the source list. So you could always do your own self-prescribed injectable estradiol valerate protocol if she wants that. I can't remember for the life of me what the dosage was. I think it's 2 milligrams per week, give or take, or maybe even less. And otherwise, hit up Victoria Felcar. I'm sure she would know. But I really can't remember for the life of me what HRT for women is. I haven't done female consultations in a long time, and I kind of forgot. And I'm not in touch with what's new. That's for sure. But you can self-prescribe at 5AR Society. They sell it. Injectable DHT, injectable pregnenolone, injectable estradiol valerate. And you can put her on a little bit of test as well if you want. Perimenopause, 1 to 2 milligrams testosterone per week. Yeah. You could thank me later. So my wife is definitely going on some testosterone after her second baby is born. A year from now. Retatrutide RX, Metformin RX, Actos RX are likely standard additions. TRT and HRT are helpful. Yes, true. Longest you would run dihexa. You don't run it. You use it 2 times a week, 10 milligrams. You don't run that shit. Nootropics you cycle through. Hey Steve, our military just implemented testosterone testing for men over 30 and TRT therapy. Yeah, it's good. It's good. I mean, I've done a lot of consultations with guys that came out of the military that were androgen deficient, and whether that's from PTSD or this poor lifestyle, or poor nutrition in the military, or physical trauma, Right? I mean, they go through a lot, man. The least they can do is keep their testosterone levels in range. And then, yeah, hopefully they don't go full Spartan and full, defiant mode, because testosterone is linked to defiancy. And the last thing you want for your military is to not follow orders. So it might backfire. And then again, you know how America does war, right? They don't send people; they send drones and nukes. So the ground assault is just the last thing you do. First you carpet bomb the entire country, and then you send in the troops to kind of take out the resources. That's what they should do with Iran. Just carpet bomb the whole fucking thing, destroy the bridges, destroy the infrastructure, destroy everything, and then you go in and you take all the gold and the oil and the Bitcoin. That's how you take over. Do you see the Odyssey? I'm going after your show. No, I wanted to go tomorrow, and then I checked the IMAX theaters, all sold out. All sold out. So I might have to go next weekend. It should still be in IMAX. Yeah, it's literally all sold out, dude. I can get row 3, but I'm not sitting in the cinema like that. So yeah, I would like to watch it. I mean, it's an Nolan movie. It should be good, but it's probably not as good as previous movies. I heard it's very noisy, so we'll bring some earplugs. Please bring some earplugs. I've heard several reviewers complain that the sound mixing is kind of terrible. But they use the IMAX cameras, so that it might, doesn't pick up the audio correctly, and they overcompromised or overcompensated by just making the sound effects and the audio track very, very noisy. So, I would like to see it, but I'm not super excited to see it. I watched Disclosure Day. That I had zero expectations, but I was pleasantly surprised. That Steven Spielberg movie. That was actually pretty good. I watched it in one go without looking at my phone. I watched The Mandalorian and Grogu with one eye at my phone and one eye at the screen. That was atrocious. So bad. Even my wife didn't enjoy it, and she usually likes The Mandalorian. She didn't like season 3, but she was looking forward to watching this one. She was like, man, this movie's kind of bad. I watched The Backrooms. That was a lot of fun. Backrooms was a lot of fun. I didn't watch Obsession yet. I might not. Like these kinds of like romantic and drama movies, you don't want to watch with your wife, so she doesn't get any ideas. You got to keep her pure, man. It's the worst thing you can do to your fucking relationship. Watch these romantic comedies or relationship drama movies, right? And then she looks at you with one eye and says, hey, what the fuck is this? You do something similar, Don't do it. No TV in the bedroom. It'll kill your sex life. And no romantic comedies with the wife. Just watch sci-fi, dude. Just watch sci-fi. Hello, Steve. First cycle, get your bioidentical hormones ebook would still do HCG 250 to 500 IOs 3 times a week. Yeah, do that because it keeps your testicles active. The DHA and pregnenolone you supplement in as needed based on your blood work results if the HCG isn't enough to bring that up. And then you might need to supplement on top of that. But yeah, keep your testicles active with the HCG. Absolutely. Rib Bayer, Rimobolin, gone but not forgotten. Yeah, same as Oxandrolone, man. Gone but not forgotten. Oxandrin in Iran. I mean, there's no Iranian exports right now. I mean, unfortunately. No Abdi Ibrahim oxymetholone or thyroid medication. And no Anavar from Iran. It might be a while. Sinatropin is still being exported, though. So at least that's some good GH. Some Chinese generics being compounded in Iran. That's probably the only Chinese generics you can get right now. Yeah, so, but I'm sure people stocked up. Bon voyage, Bonivar, now Gonavar. Yeah. If you only waste a cycle, if you don't keep nutrition and training geared towards your goal, TRT is plenty for most. Yeah. Yeah, most guys don't need more than TRT. But they use a steroid cycle to overcompensate for the lack of effort. And then you get these weird physiques, Like these TRT plus physiques. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. It's like not really a bodybuilder. It's like a swimmer with big delts and big shoulders and maybe a little bit of chest, but shitty arms, shitty torso, shitty legs. Like a typical TRT plus guy that runs 500 milligrams of gear but doesn't know how to train or diet. Still eats at fucking Cheesecake Factory 3 times a week and orders Uber Eats on Klarna because he spends all his money on growth hormone secretagogues. For fuck's sake. Steve, why are your consultations $1,000 for 20 minutes? Because, well, people know that it's worth it. And they don't do stupid shit like TRT plus guys. How long can I run 375 tests and 300 primo? If labs are good, I'm a high aromatizer. That's almost why I run 1-to-1. For as long as your labs are good and you make progress on that dose. And you might need to increase it if you need more progress, if the food is making you fat. So run it for as long as your blood work tells you you're okay. Or until you get bored. Most of us get bored. I did 6 weeks on testosterone or DHT Anabolic. And I'm like, why do another 2 weeks? I got the blood work. I got the body composition changes. Let's switch to Primo and then switch back to DHT and Enth because I got bored. I'll be very slow to move women to injections in the US. And they get injected every fucking day everywhere. Just with a gigantic syringe. And it shoots semen. So, I don't know what you're talking about, Joshua. Come on now, man. Gunner. Asking the same question multiple times is not going to get you the answer. Watch the fucking Entrepreneur Nootropic Deep Dive. Stack. And figure it out for yourself. Because whatever works for me might not work for you. But you seem cognitively impaired. Yeah. You seem, with 4 questions about the same thing, you seem cognitively impaired. So please, megadose Cerebrolysin for a month and then come back here. Ava 291, is that ARA 290 or did you make a typo? And the V is pretty far from the A. Ava 2, I never heard of this. Ava 291. It's a peptide. All right. Oh, it's not a peptide. Modified deuterium substitute form of testosterone. D₃-Testosterone. Deuterium substitute? Deuterated testosterone. That's new to me. Maybe it can detect some neutrinos. You take Ava 291 and then once in a blue moon you light up. You have like a little flash of neutrinos from the sun. Hey, maybe that's what turns you into Superman, man. You get like that little spark, and then you rise like Space Jesus. You know, test that doesn't aromatize and it's orally active. I think Kurt and Dean mentioned something about that, an oral Kaisertrex. So this is a testosterone combined with estrogen medication. It's called EC586, EC508. And it has a double cyclical ester. I'm not even sure if I'm supposed to disclose this, but as always, it'll be interesting when it's available. And unless it's available, then here, Aviva Bio announces FDA guidance on the development of Ava 291. Deuterium testosterone. Source, or shut the fuck up. YouTube or it didn't happen. Also, drones are why our video games are killer. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, with those video games, it's, it's easy to fly drones. The Odyssey was killer. Okay, that's good to know. Crap, better check for tickets. Men and women do 1.5 to 2 milligrams as a replacement dose of estradiol. Yeah, if you're doing tests also, just do tests because, yeah, it also converts into estradiol. So women, I think it's better just to go on test. Sub Stevo, 48 years old, 5'10", 212 pounds, 9% body fat on 150 tests every week with 6.25 milligrams Aromacin. Great stats, man. Great fucking stats. 48 years old, 5'10", 212 pounds, 9% body fat, and just running a little bit of tests. And Aromacin test is 1200. Estradiol is 53.1. Okay, that's a little bit on the high side, but not terrible. 54% hematocrit. Advice on adding other compounds other than growth hormone for first cycle to add a lean 10 pounds. More food. More food. But I think if you add in a little bit of food, not to the point you get fat, you go to 200 tests, 6.25 milligrams Aromacin 4 times a week. So for the additional 50 milligrams of test, you add in 6.25 milligrams Aromacin and 2 IUs, 3 IUs growth hormone before bed. I think you'll have a good result. And then when you gain 5 pounds on that, you get stuck probably. Add in a little bit more food, and then add in 200 milligrams Primo on top and remove the Aromacin. And then I think you're at 225. Yeah. 225, 49 years old at 5'10", 10% body fat. Lamborghini Revolto, 25-year-old, 27-year-old girl. I think you got it covered, bro. I mean, if that's you in the suit, that's James Bond. But hey, James Bond stats for sure. Yeah, 150 tests, a little bit more food and GH, and then 200 tests, a little bit more food and a little bit of GH, and then a couple weeks into it, when you're 10% body fat, you go to 200 tests, 200 Primo, take the Aromacin out, keep the same amount of GH in, and then you recomp to 220 pounds easy. Back rooms are good. If you know, you know. Yeah, man. You just don't want to end up as the butt pirate. Back rooms was great. The protagonist of Failing Architects mirrored me and my life in some sense. I had to rethinking my life choices and views. Yeah, the last thing you want is to be eaten by your own memories, right? It was a great concept, man. I really was pleasantly surprised by the back rooms. I hope that guy gets some more funds to make a new movie a couple of years down the line, because he did great direction and great storytelling. He deserves all the money and the success. Dude, I couldn't even finish Obsession. Those relationship dynamics are almost traumatizing. Yeah, that's why I don't want to watch it with the wife. I want to keep her pure. You say higher HCG dosages than a deep dive. Did something change for how much HCG 250? Jeez, learn how to. Clippy, come on. Formulate it a little bit better. In the deep dive, I made a replacement dose, right? It was 325 IUs 3 times a week, or give or take, or every other day. That will be the replacement dose. But you don't just want the replacement dose, you want a little bit higher, because the exogenous testosterone is suppressing your testicular function. And the HCG that's out there is not 100% purity. So 500 IUs is where most guys end up. 250 IUs is below what you would produce naturally. 300 to 325 IUs, again, 3 times per week, is a replacement dose, but you would want a little bit higher to kind of force your testicles into activity for increased spermatogenesis, increased testosterone production, and aromatization as a result of that, which you would need to control with estradiol on top of your TRT and then some, because it just seems to work better. And I explained that, I think, in the HCG deep dive, that yes, 325 IUs is a replacement dose, but a little bit more is better because of the bioavailability issues. We discussed the bioavailability issues in the deep dive. I spent hours on the deep dive. I'm pretty fucking sure I explained it well. Maybe you need to watch it again, bro. I'm definitely looking forward to a scoop of ice cream a day in 17 weeks. Hey, on ATX 304, you can eat ice cream every single day and still get lean. Steve, your entrepreneur stack made a few guys millionaires. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I did. I met several people who watched that to the T, and now I'm working with like the peptide bros, right? Like I think Brandon watched most of it. I know Jackson watched it religiously, and I know Derek watched it, and Derek decoded, right? Those three guys, they basically, I mean, it's a bit of an overstatement, but they kind of grew up on my content and on other people's content, obviously, but they watched my content and leveled up. And it's so fucking good to see, you know? It's so fucking good to see that the fruits of what I put out there, like getting muscular and you know, gaining muscle, losing fat, sure, man, that shit was already out there. But like the blueprint for financial freedom, the entrepreneur nootropic deep dive stack, the all these little things about relationships, you know, that's real life changing shit. And I can honestly say that I've produced multiple millionaires with my content. And it's not me that did it, it's the content, and they put in the work. Right? They put in the work. And that's ultimately what I wanted. This YouTube channel was a transfer of knowledge, not just the drugs, right? I bait you in with the drugs, but I try to convey everything on this YouTube channel that there's some sort of catalog of everything that I learned and wish I had access to, because I had to figure it out the hard way, man. It took me a while. Like, dude, there's 20-year-olds watching my YouTube channel and turning themselves into millionaires, but it took me a fucking long time to get there. You know, so because I had no guidance. I didn't have a guide, you know, and all those books. I mean, it doesn't put everything together, you know, like Gary V and all those financial. It doesn't put the fucking everything together. So, anyway, rant over. What you got to do is when you're at a certain point, you got to pay it forward, right? So other people can level up. And 9 out of 10 will not get it and reject and you know, resist because it's new and they're unsure and you know, they have their own preconceptions of what it should be. But for the guys that listen and adopt it and apply it, yeah, that went far. Lemborexant and fluvoxamine should be addictive. I'm trying Lemborexant 5 milligrams, modafinil 50 maybe, and memantine combo. Is memantine something you can run every day? Like modafinil, I run every single day until my brain fried. And Lemborexant, it should be okay. Fluvoxamine is, well, it's not addictive, but it's you get withdrawals. Right, I got stopped at cold turkey and not deal with this, the removal of the fluvoxamine regarding my cognition, my mood management, and my better decision making. But the withdrawal symptoms of the brain cells, excuse me, that's terrible, you know. Oh, here we go. Tanya, somebody needs to tell the women that first time hurt a lot more than any injection. Yeah, I would imagine. Yeah, unless you go to this part of the world. Unless you go to Japan, man. Why do you think all those women are crying? I got my clothes off and I don't feel anything. Oh, Nissan. Yeah. But hey, if you're a pro, you go slow. And then it doesn't hurt. I've helped many overcome their first time hurdle. Steve, can you take care of it? No. 150 characters. Thoughts on dropping Retta during a cut, running 4 milligrams per week at 2,300 calories with high protein. Digestion is awful. Fiber at 40% or 40 grams. Tiny stools. Magnesium citrate, 200 milligrams with every meal. 250 milligrams TUDCA with every meal. And maybe, 200 milligrams sulforaphane morning and evening. Keep taking the Retta and drink a little bit more water to lubricate your stool, and I think you'll be fine. Magnesium citrate lubricates the stool, Tadkite lubricates the stool, and sulforaphane lubricates the stool, assuming you drink water. So if you're taking Retta during a cut at 4 milligrams, you're eating 2,300 calories and drinking 1 liter of water. And you're eating, the fiber, 40 grams of psyllium husk fiber. Of course, man, you're eating sawdust. And you're not hydrating. Go to 4 liters, 5 liters of water and add in those supplements. You don't need to stop Retta. You'll be regular. Or you're megadosing the aromatase inhibitors, your serum estradiol levels are low, and thus you're not producing enough bile acids. Estradiol helps with the production of bile acids, and so does GC1 soboterone, or thyroid hormones. Maybe your thyroid levels are low. All right, check your estrogen, check your thyroid levels, allow your estrogen to come back up. If your thyroid levels are not sufficient, supplement, whether that's soboterone or thyroid medication, and throw in those supplements that I just mentioned. And you don't need to come off. As Quark once said, injections can be sensual. I don't remember that quote. I don't remember that quote. Which episode is that? Looking shredded in the face. Yeah, it's getting better, but I'm holding a little bit of water. I want to end up like Coach Colton. That's the goal. That's like a perma blowjob face. How'd you get so successful on YouTube? Fucking meta, guys. Somebody's going to screen cap that 100%. And I'll end up on some thumbnail. Here, let me help you. All right? That's the goal. Blowjob face. But it's it's getting better. I don't want a bloofy face anymore, man. Like those shorts, the reels that I post, right? They're from like December last year, where I was bloofy as fuck. I don't want to be bloofy anymore, man. Yeah, I don't want it anymore. Let me throw up the... because we're getting to the end. Low dose HCG, 175 IOs every other day. Took me to 30 nanomoles and 220 estradiol. Okay, that's pretty high. This is way lower than recommended. Should I increase the dose and use an AI? I'm planning to test a low dose too. Okay, so you're on HCG solo, right? Did it drop your LH and FSH levels? Because what it sounds to me is that you're on such a low dose HCG that it didn't suppress your LH and FSH. Now you're topping off your 3 to 4 milliIUs per milliliter LH with additional HCG. So did your LH and FSH come back down to zero? How long has it been? Because it takes about 4 weeks, 6 weeks for LH and FSH to come down on HCG monotherapy. So this could be temporary, or you're not suppressing yourself. And you can increase the dose, but if you're already here on such a low dose, then all you might do is, by increasing the dose, you lower your LH and FSH levels, you become HPTA deficient, and then you're replacing the LH now with HCG, ending up at the same testosterone and estradiol levels. And 220 on 160 top of the reference range picomole per milliliter or picomoles per liter estradiol is not the end of the world, but it's not sustainable. So yeah, I would say you need a low dose and aromatase inhibitor. Yeah, Oni's his older brother. I know. What is the teacher? I watch too much fucking terrible anime, bro. Fuck. Senpai. That's the one. We have a Japanese girl that's like 52 years old. She's a bikini competitor in the Muscle Factory. And every time I see her, I throw some like fucking anime slogan at her. He's like training legs and I'm yelling like, Itayo, Onisa, Yamete, Shinderu. She loves it, I think. Or she's just laughing as she's super embarrassed. It's all right. Can't be politically correct all the time, man. Yeah, there you go. I always really enjoyed your financial entrepreneur videos. They really helped me get my bachelor and master's in finance at 21 and now have my own financial business. Super chat at me, motherfucker. No, I'm good. I don't need any more super chats. But this is what we do it for, right? So if you got a bachelor and a master's at 21, that's better than I did. I just got a bachelor at 21. Yeah, that's good, man. Do your own financial business. Keep track of the cycles because we're pretty much at the start of the recession right now. Right? SpaceX is down 50%. S&P is peaking at 7,500. NASDAQ is rolling over. Dow Jones is rolling over. The DXY is increasing. Oh, man. Thai baht to the dollar. Where's that now? 33.7. I will be in the entire weekend, right? Yeah, I'll be at 35 soon, and then I'm going to cash out. Cash out my dollars into Thai baht. What else? Housing market is coming to the close at the end of 2027, and then it's going to roll over. Gold is already rolled over, but it's forming a bottom. It might bottom out in September, October. What would be nice? Not really sure. I think 3,500 would be realistic. Strategy is about to form a bottom. MicroStrategy. And yeah, Bitcoin is going to form a bottom anywhere between October and December as well. So it's stock exchange is going to bleed. Didn't they just announce that politicians are not allowed to have stocks? Politicians stocks. Then I read something about that. Anyway, you're 21, 4-year cycles and 8-year cycles. Look into it. An 18 years real estate cycle, and then by the time you're 40, you're in 50 million. Yeah, and then found some old 60-year-old guy with in a Thai gym, and then tell him how much it helped. It would mean the world to me. Additive? What additive? What? Did I miss something? Oh, fuck. Did I answer something because addictive? It was Joshua, right? Oh, additive, yeah. Guys, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Give me a break. Yeah, Lemborexant and Fluvoxamine are additive, not addictive, even though you do get withdrawals when you come off Fluvoxamine. First thing I saw opening the stream. Fuck. Oh, no. ProVigorous pump blend. Jesus Christ. 1 cc split bilaterally, half a cc intramuscularly. Yeah, that's pretty much it, no, guys. All right, 274 people. Did 274 people like the stream? Before we leave, do me a solid. Leave a like. It's at 140 now. Let's see if we can get it up to 200. There's 275 people of you here. So do me a rock solid. Do me a rock hard reach around solid and bring those likes up to, don't like the chat, like the video. All right, 145. Come on, guys. Come on. Do it. Do it now. Do it now. Bring it up. Anyway, this is the end of the podcast. And we'll see you guys next weekend. Is there anything new next weekend? Saturday, August the 1st. Okay. As a quick reminder, next week, the Peptide Bros episode 2 will drop on Derek Decoded's YouTube channel. So if you're not subscribed yet, it's linked right down below in the description. Go there, subscribe, and you get it right as it drops. Anabolic Roundtable, episode 24, the 2-year anniversary. Can't believe we've done 24 episodes, or 23 so far. Yeah, so that will be next week. We'll record that, and then the week after, on the first week of August, I'll drop that because we have to do another tier list. 25% discount at Disguised Alpha on the GLP-1s. That's the semi, the tirzepatide, the retatrutide, and the metatrutide. So you get your GLP-1, 2, 3, and 4 on discount. 25% off with code Vigorous, and then 20% off if you buy in bulk, or up to 25% off if you buy in bulk. And then another 7% discount if you pay with crypto. That's almost 50% off. So now you can run double the dose and not be hungry at all. Omega Aminos, 30% discount, free shipping, and a mystery gift for every $200 that you spend there. So that means if you order $400, you get 2 mystery gifts. $800, 4 mystery gifts. Code Vigorous will get you 30% discount. And the Omega Aminos Mr. Olympia booth with myself, Chase Irons, and everybody else that's part of the Omega Aminos team. Tiffany Sam and Chris Massaro and maybe Nick Walker. Let's drag him from the hotel room to the booth. Fuck you, Nick. Talk about Red Eye Mod C here. Yeah, after he does the Olympia, pre-judging the next day, we'll be there right at the entrance on the right side. So you see, when you come into the Mr. Olympia Expo, you see the Jim Reaper's booth with the official Mr. Olympia merchandise clothing. You go to the right, and you don't need to go anywhere else. Just come there, take our pictures. I'll be on DHT Annotate, and maybe a little bit of Anavar. And, yeah, I want that shirt, like, real bad. All right, bring me some cigars, and I'll meet you at the Mr. Olympia. Maybe we can do a trade. Maybe we can do a trade, bro. Yeah, maybe. Let's see. It's a double XL. So unless you need cannons like this, otherwise it's not. Otherwise you get it like this. You know, it looks lame as fuck. Tiffany's legs, yeah. I gotta ask her for some quad training advice. I gotta pull. I gotta take her aside and her husband and just ask for a fucking training protocol because my quads are. Well, I got some ACE083 on the way. Myostatin inhibitor, localized effect. So I'm going to accidentally hold 200 milligrams ACE083 in the left quad, the TOR, and we'll see what happens. It's no longer being produced. And you're 78 kilos, so you need to be at least 100 kilos to wear the shirt. Yeah, you're shit out of luck, bro. Too bad. All right, guys, enjoy your weekend. I know I will. Tomorrow I'm going to go out to dinner with my wife. And misbehave. I'll leave that up to your imagination. All right. See you guys next weekend. Peace out.